Go. Avery, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to work with you today. Obviously, we've had so many incredible chats so far, and a huge shout out to our mutual guy, Rob Nelson, absolute legend in the space that way. For people who maybe don't know you as well as Rob does, or don't know you as well as I've gotten to know you recently, would you mind filling me in a little bit about who you are and all the amazing things you're doing in this amazing life you live?
So my name is Avery Dew. I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I've lived here my entire life, and I graduated from Wofford College a year ago. I majored in finance there, played lacrosse. I walked on the lacrosse team. Didn't originally go in as like a committed athlete, but I ended up walking on there, which was awesome. And I've kind of had an entrepreneurial background as well. Like I started a jewelry business when I was 15, and then I kind of turned it into like a resale and like retail business around like right before I moved into college. And so I've always kind of had some like social media like kind of shenanigans and like side hustles going on. And I ended up going to Wofford with kind of an entrepreneurial like as part of this like entrepreneurial program and like scholarship program, which was awesome too. Um, and right now I'm in back in my hometown. I went to Salem at Wake Forest studying sports media and documentary film. And it is like the perfect like full circle moment combining like the media and marketing that I love, but also like being involved in athletics too and just like doing something hands-on. It's wonderful. So that's a little bit about me. I have two brothers, a middle child. Um, People would probably describe me as being extremely ADHD, just kind of all over the place, and honestly, just like a mess, but like a creative mess. So that's probably the best way to put it.
I love that energy. Absolutely love that. Fully here for that. And there's so many amazing things that you brought up that I just can't wait to dive into more. Obviously, you brought up lacrosse, you brought up entrepreneurship, and so much more that way. Diving into the lacrosse a little bit first, tell me more about your journey in the sport of lacrosse that way, because from what I remember, you were quite a stud high school athlete back in the day, but you also played more than just lacrosse in high school, correct?
Yes, so it would just was in the it was a non-negotiable for me that like if there was a spring, fall, or winter season, like in high school, like I was gonna be playing a sport for the school. And in middle school, I kind of did like volleyball, and then I did basketball because a lot of my friends played basketball, and always lacrosse in the spring. Lacrosse was always like a that was the sport I was doing in the spring, even when a lot of my friends played soccer too. Like I was the one person kind of in my grade that played lacrosse. And actually, it's crazy because senior year, I was the only senior swimmer and the only senior lacrosse player too. And so I kind of just like never took a season off. I always knew that after a full day of class, I would end up being in practice and like of some sort. And swimming and lacrosse were kind of my main sports. Like I started swimming for my high school in eighth grade, and I think that's where I realized that like I was going to be a little bit more successful in that than I thought because I had a background in doing year-round swimming kind of while my body was developing when I was in elementary school. Like, and like those kinds of muscles with swimming are very the kind of muscles that come with like a bar class or like doing ballet your whole life, like really lean muscles, but also like the bigger muscles of the body too. So when your body's developing at a young age, I feel like that is like why I feel like I still have like muscle on my arms and legs that probably formed when I was like really, really young. And like as my body was growing, that's kind of like I think I have more of like a swimmer's build. I feel like I have a swimmer's upper body and a lacrosse like lower body, which is interesting. But everybody's built different and like has the muscle they need for like whatever their sport is. But anyway, I just think that that like makes the most sense the way to put it. And I think swimming and lacrosse are both so different. Like you really can't compare it at all. And it was always really nice for me to have such like a balance and being like none of these it's not like oh I'm in cross country season I got to make sure I'm doing what I'm doing before lacrosse or like the sports are so different that when you are training for one you are only focused on that one sport. So that I feel like is what really helped me like stay like loving the sports I was doing because it never felt like a burnout. It never felt like I was focusing on just one all the time. And I played for a club team for lacrosse and like did tournaments, but I wasn't willing to give up a lot of my time. And I was a little bit unsure like whether I wanted to like play a college sport. And I could have also like it's crazy to say too that I I probably could have swam in college too. I could have swam somewhere in college. Um, and that's the kind of thing that, it doesn't really matter where you swim. People can just look at your times and be like, okay, great. But then lacrosse is a little bit different. Like you would need to come with film and things like that. But I I remember like I had friends that were like really interested in playing in college and they were just traveling like to Raleigh to go play for Carolina Fever and I just wasn't willing to like give up that time. And so I played for a club team kind of out of Greensboro, but that's also where I'm playing with girls that there might be a few in there that are wanting to play in college, like and maybe D3 and some D2, maybe one or two D1 girls. Um, and so I wasn't really used to playing with people that were like really, really good. And when you have a team of girls that are really good, that's when you can do all the more like advanced and like heavy plays, like get like because you have a lot to work with. And so I going into college, which is already a crazy jump, like playing lacrosse in high school and then playing in college, because it's just completely different. The pace is so different. A lot of the rules are different. And it's just you have girls that are out for blood in college, but in the best way, because I think if it wasn't that way and it wouldn't like acknowledge how tough and strong these girls have to be to like play the sport. So
Absolutely. There's so many great things that you just shared there. I mean, first off, huge props to you for balancing all the different things that you had when you were growing up that way, from swimming to lacrosse. And you mentioned that, again, you even started your entrepreneurship journey at that age as well. So it's like you're getting pulled in so many different directions that way. And you mentioned you have this little bit of this like high energy, or I think you called it ADHD kind of like lifestyle mindset that way a little bit. Do you feel like some of that might have come about from this like concept of literally just doing all of the things all of the time from a young age and just continuing to build on that?
I think that sometimes my ADHD can kind of be annoying, and I think that sometimes it can have like a really negative tone of like, oh, somebody's all over the place, or like they have kind of they struggle with impulse control, or they literally can't sit still. But I think that I've really used my ADHD for like positive things. Like I would never, I mean, yes, I might have impulses of like, oh my God, that's such a good idea, or oh my God, that would be such a fun thing to do. And then I'm just this is the best way to put it. And I've tried to explain this to people sometimes too. Like, and people without ADHD, imagine you're like driving down a road, like downtown or like just anywhere. And it's like, okay, you're driving, you hit a red light, you do what you need to do, you hit the green light, and then you're on to the next one. And there's another intersection. It's like, okay, red light, you do what you need to do, get the task done, do the green light. I feel like I'm at like a 7 point intersection and it's like I'm just like spinning in the middle. Like you're hitting a yellow light, you're hitting a green light, hitting a red light. Oh, you're gonna get on another road, you're gonna do the same thing. Because it's just like it feels sometimes like 100 dodgeballs are coming at me, but you have to kind of sit and like really think about it and be like, okay, which ones am I gonna like dodge and which ones am I gonna like try to catch right now? So I think also it really helps that I've grown up like adapting to taking medication because I've understood how like it feels like you have just like a mess and like a little like pile of like to-dos and like ideas, but then when you take the medication they suddenly just all like line up and then you're going down that straight road. But I think that because of my ADHD it's brought out a lot of like my creative ideas and like my like impulse. Like I think along with having like ADHD I'm also a very like motivated person, so I think sometimes having so many ideas coming like one way and another, and then adding the motivation on it was kind of the driving factor of like, okay, let's move through it. You might kind of be driving like this sometimes, but I think it's the way I was able to balance so many of those things too. And I'm one that never sleeps. Like I have people in college like, Avery, like you need to sleep, you need to sleep. Even now, like I don't sleep a whole lot. And I think some people were kind of like, that's really unhealthy. Like you really need to sleep. But I'm over here like I've been doing this since fourth grade. Like I don't really know any different. Like, and also me having two brothers, that's something that I don't think people think about is like the family dynamic you grow up in. Like my older brother's 3 years older than me, my younger brother's 3 years younger than me. Um, like the times that we would see each other in the day would be 3 a.m. in the kitchen. Like all I would adapt to like my brother's behaviors, and that was just normal to me. Like I would stay up crazy late. They all would stay up late. And it's funny because I actually did a podcast clip one time, like just a little like a reel on like my page, which Anyway, and so it was 3 a.m. and I did a test. I was like, let's call my brothers to like see if they're awake right now. Like I just to prove to you that like this is the Dew children. Like we are always awake. We don't sleep. We're nocturnal. Like, and I called them both and they both answered. So and I was not surprised one bit. So anyways, I think growing up around brothers, like, I'm kind of a mess too. Like they're all messy. Like they get their stuff done, they have their priorities in order, but like I like that we're all messy. And I think sometimes that translates into me having kind of having like messiness up here and messiness in my space. And some people are like, Avery, like you need to clean it up. I'm like, oh, it's fine. I know everything is. Like, it's okay. Like I just think that growing up with brothers has impacted me in ways that I never realized until I like kind of moved out of the house, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting that you bring that up. And even just to your point on the chaotic side, like I feel like sport, life, entrepreneurship, all of those things get chaotic at times. Like we literally use a progression, or I use a progression when I'm helping athletes return to sport after an injury called control to chaos. Because sport is chaotic. It's random. Stuff happens all the time. It's extremely fast paced. And sometimes it can be like violent. And it's one of those things that I think people are trying to, and I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but like people are trying to make sport less violent and less chaotic. But one of the many things that I think makes sport great is the chaos and the unpredictability and the fact that, yes, things can happen because of that. But I think it's what makes sports so engaging to watch. And I think it's one of the many reasons the sports space in general is growing at an unparalleled rate, right? People love to watch sports, but I've noticed that some of these sports, like take baseball, for example, like they're adding a whole new level of control to it, whether that's pitch clocks, controlling how long you have to literally throw a pitch, to who actually calls the pitch. A lot of these pitchers don't actually get to determine what pitch they're throwing, where they're throwing it, all these different factors that way. And it just takes a little bit of the fun out of it, in my opinion. It's fun when things are chaotic. It's fun when things are random and unpredictable. And, sometimes there might be an element of danger because of that, but that's the risk that we have to accept that comes with some of these sports. And in particular, in relation to lacrosse, it's like one of the many things I love about lacrosse, again, the chaos, the fast-paced element of it. And I think that there's a lot of discussion. I mean, you even had a post about it the other day, how do we make lacrosse safer? And it's like, at least for me, if we take women's lacrosse, we keep all the rules the same, but all of a sudden we give you all a ton of pads, helmets, all that sort of stuff. Like, I feel like it changes the dynamic of the game a little bit, doesn't it?
I feel that if lacrosse kind of turned into like this knockoff of men's lacrosse, it loses the beauty of because to me, I think women's lacrosse is more similar to women's basketball than I think men's lacrosse is to women's lacrosse. Because if you think about it, like the sport is that like I don't compare field hockey and lacrosse. I think lacrosse is easily just compared with basketball. I mean, you think about it, like there's the circle in the middle, there's the tip off, like it goes up in the air, people are on the circle, you try to get it to your own side. When there's a foul, there's a free throw. Same in lacrosse, when there's a foul, there's an 8 meter. Obviously you're working on a bigger field in lacrosse, but it's still like the ball is in transition from one to the other. Like you're either playing defense or you are playing like I just have always thought that those sports were if you added think about this, if you added sticks to basketball and people had to throw the basketball stick to stick, same sport. Now that wouldn't be the same for field hockey. We're not playing on the floor. Not the same for soccer. Again, not playing on the floor. It's not like a race. It's not like volleyball because it's a contact sport. I mean, volleyball is still a contact sport, just kind of with your own teammates. But you get my point. Um, I think that women's lacrosse, like they shouldn't change a single thing because it's supposed to be that rough and it is supposed to be that physical of a game. And if you try to kind of mess with that and alter that, you're then gonna get the girls that aren't like, I don't want to say aren't made for it, but the girls that represent it well are the girls that prove how strong they are to represent it well and play well and like have so much talent and also just like ambition and tenacity to be on that field. I mean, really, because this is what also blows my mind too is when you watch soccer, you watch volleyball or you watch like any other sport, yeah, you might see some players like on the ground and stuff. Like volleyball for sure, 'cause you have to like dive to get the ball. Basketball, I guess it's a little bit more rare someone's on the ground. Soccer, like not so much. But I mean, it's like it you don't raise an eyebrow or raise a flag when you see a girl like launch a shot and like launch her whole body towards the shot to where she slides down the field, almost rolls, drops the stick, gets up, claps and cheers with her teammates. And that's just normal. Like the amount of times you watch it and it's not even a surprise that a girl is in the like fully in the air upwards, like falling down like into the ground. And then it's just like, oh, great, made the shot. Let's celebrate. And it's like that's just part of it. And I think, I mean, imagine to score for your team and to, you know, be a good player on the field, make an impact, to launch your body like at that speed and intensity and understanding that that's just the way it's going to be. It's just that's a mindset at that point. When you're on the field, you're risking a lot of your body. And I think that that's what brings out the best girls to represent the sport. So,
Absolutely. And I say all the time about how sport teaches you things about life that you're not going to get anywhere else. Like there's just so many lessons and different things ingrained within sports themselves. And I think lacrosse is probably one of the best examples of it because as you just outlined, you're going to have to pull off spectacular stuff sometimes, and you're just going to have to play it off like it's no big deal. That's just what you do every day. Life is going to get messy and chaotic sometimes. Some days practice is going to be really freaking hard. Some days it's going to be really easy. Some days you're going to walk around with all these like bumps, bruises, and just feeling kind of battered and you don't know where half of it came from. Some days you're going to, be on top of the world that way. Like it is such a great sport that carries over just to the, messiness that life can bring sometimes. And that's again the goods, the bads, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. And I think that if you change the nature of the game, you start to detract from some of the many lessons that the sport teaches you about life and success and beyond that way. One of the many things that I value, or at least I've seen and heard other individuals value, is they want to hire individuals who have been athletes in college, right? All
oh,
these different jobs, careers, different things out there. They are specifically looking for athletes. And it's like, it's because sport teaches you so much that you're not going to get elsewhere. I mean, you're a living example of it. Look at how much you did growing up, whether that be swim, lacrosse, or anything in between. And look at the success you've experienced as an entrepreneur thus far at a fairly young age overall, right? Like you told me the other day that you were having meetings with like an accountant at like 15. It's like, that's usually the kind of stuff that people like see in movies, not experience in real life. Like there's clearly concepts from sport that have carried over to help you succeed in a way that like almost nothing else can.
hmm. And I'll say too, and I just picked her up, so I just thought of it. I mean, I didn't introduce her in the beginning, but this is my dog. Her name is Honeydew. If you get it, it's my last name, Hunt, like Dew. So she's Honey. She's a little Schnauzer poodle, and I got her senior year of college, like the busiest time of my life. Like we were in the middle of season, like there was like classes I was taking. I had recently moved to an apartment by myself for like the spring of senior year. And I'm so glad I like did because I was able to like get her and like get out of like the kind of smaller space that I'd been living in. Which was great. I've been living with teammates, but I was kind of just like I need to like get my own space for a little bit and kind of prep a little bit for the real world after. But I remember thinking, I'm like, okay, because my life has always been like so chaotic, it was almost like let's just like add more chaos to it. And I mean, because like having a puppy and like going to practice, going to class, it really allowed me to be like, okay, it actually helped me plan a lot more too. So, like, my point in saying this is I think that sometimes if you add something that might seem chaotic, it can kind of wrap it all around and benefit everything else. Because I was like, okay, somebody's coming to watch the dog while I'm in practice. Like, I need to make it was the kind of thing too. I was like, I need to make sure that I'm selling this amount of clothes for like the dresses today so that I can make sure to pay the dog sitter for the week. I have to make sure that I have like enough coming in because I'm weird. I never like to pull from savings. Like I like to just kind of make money like on the spot and then like when I need it and like pay for like her appointments like when I had like just gotten her as a puppy because the most payments come in the beginning. Um Basically, yeah, my point is sometimes if when things are kind of already chaotic and busy, never hesitate to like do something that like you kind of want to do that might be stressful, but you're gonna figure it out. And it's gonna probably come, it's gonna do more for you than you could ever do for it. So this is my example. And I think everybody, if like she's like helped me get through so much too. Like just having like, I mean, she really is just like so sweet. I don't really know why I got into it, but I just love my dog a lot. And like she just is like always there. Like and so easygoing and like she proves that actions speak louder than words. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And
yeah,
I
she's
think
the best thing. Sorry, I kind of forgot your original question. I'm sorry.
well,
That was an ADHD moment.
I was going to say another example of that concept of action speaking louder than words and just kind of like finding the most valuable things like, in relation to your dog and places that you might not have often, thought of those things coming from. In relation to your lacrosse journey, you mentioned about how you walked on to the lacrosse field that way. Like you walked on to the team and that's something that I feel like a lot of people are like a little bit uneasy about. Like a lot of times, especially high school athletes I talk with, they think, I'm going to play in high school, play club, I'm going to put my name out there, do the whole recruiting thing, commit somewhere, and I'm going to go to that school and, stay there 4 or 5 years. And if things don't work out, then I'll go through the transfer portal. A lot of them don't realize the option of walking on or some of these unorthodox paths to get there, right? And as you mentioned, life can be chaotic. We've said that a number of times here. Life when you're a freshman in college in a whole new place that you've never been before, around hundreds, if not thousands of people you've never met, can be very chaotic. It can be very overwhelming. It can be mentally draining. But for some people, and you're one of them, you think, you know what? I need to add something more to this. I need to add Division 1 sport. And it's funny because there was another girl I did a podcast with. We recorded it this morning. Similar kind of concept, right? She walked on to a D1 program, just walked on, and the rest is history. But it's like there's something special about that amongst you all. Like first off, just the talent and skill and physical ability that you have to, play any sport at the D1 level is beyond impressive. But on top of that, to be able to make and earn a spot on the team without the whole recruiting process, because again, like at that point, you're already in college, you're already at the university. They don't have to let you on the team, but they chose to because they see something in you. There's some kind of value that you can provide that they feel like, you know what, this is going to help our team. She's a member of this team. She's a member of this family, a member of this community that we're building. And I think that there's something extremely special about that.
Yeah, no, that you make so many great points there. And like I'll just kind of briefly like say that I mean, when I was in high school, I was like really unsure whether I wanted to play in college. Like I kind of had like these businesses growing. Towards senior year of high school too, I was not playing as much club because I was like, I'm not gonna play in college at this point. Like, and I kind of just like enjoyed time with friends and did the things that seniors in high school do, and just played school sports. And I remember, like, I mean, and COVID hit too. Like, I was a COVID high school senior, so obviously a lot of things looked really different. And then when you were talking about things like the transfer portal and just like college athletics in general, it's crazy because it's crazy to look and see how much the past 5 years in sports has been probably more different than anything we've seen. Your NIL is entering the chat. We have the transfer portal. It's now like you can do a fifth year, sixth year. I mean, sometimes a seventh year if you like get redshirted, have an injury, have a COVID year. Like the sports has just looked really crazy the past 5 years in ways that it's never looked before. And so when I got to Wofford, it was the whole year was really like a COVID year. And Wofford really abided by a lot of the COVID rules. Like there was not a lot going on campus. Like I'm sure a lot of bigger schools, there was still a lot of social activity. I don't even know, like if I don't know, I don't think there was like football season. Maybe there was. I'm not exactly sure. But basically at Wofford, like there was not a lot going on. And I didn't have my car either. So I mean, I couldn't even like really go out and like do much. Like I was kind of just stuck on campus. Like I don't even go to in-person class. Like kind of had just nothing going on. Like running my jewelry business out of like the floor of my dorm. Um, and that you just kind of like same thing happening every weekend. You get the point. So I was just it was weird seeing people on campus like playing lacrosse because I was like, wait, that like I want to be there. And I feel like I should be there. And Well, I had like great friends, and Wofford is a small school where everybody mingles. Like nobody lives in the sorority houses. Like yes, athletes will live together, but like your porch mates, so the people, your suite mates could be people that are in a sorority. Like it's a very communal school, because it's so small. And I would say that like there were a lot of people that I like I'm still so like I'm great friends with people I played lacrosse with and like great friends with people that were in my sorority or like on my hall or like with a lot of different people from Wofford. And I had gotten in this scholarship program called the Launch Scholarship, and it's just you basically are a part of this like almost like entrepreneurial team. And you meet weekly, there's pitch competition opportunities, and you just learn a lot about entrepreneurship and like how to pitch a business, how to make a business plan, and things like that. And so getting into the school on the launch scholarship, I was kind of like, that was really good too, because it's like, if anything, I was into the school with like, on my own merit. And you can't stack a scholarship either. Not that I would have gotten one for lacrosse if I would have come directly in freshman year, like been committed. I don't think I would have gotten like money for that. But that was the good thing too, is like I was into the school on my own merit. And then lacrosse kind of just like got added, which probably would have been the case anyways if I would have gone through the if does that make sense? So that's kind of like how that worked. And like I walked on the team. Um, I reached out to the coach, and I had been to a prospect day in high school. So my name, I don't know if my name was like kind of like familiar or like been in any like records or anything, but I had been in touch with her, and it was kind of like a slower process. Like COVID was happening, everybody was kind of in this like state of confusion. And I ended up on the team freshman year, but it kind of like didn't really work out at the time, and it just that like fell apart fairly quickly, which was a very kind of hard thing to go through. Um, but luckily I was able to get another opportunity like in the fall the next year. And it's really crazy to look at that when I got asked back, because I got asked back on the team for two for two reasons that just represent how twisted the sports world can be in college. Like, so it's like I sit here and I'm like, I'm living proof that college athletics can be so crazy. Meaning, I think at the time, like there were so many injured athletes because they'd just been overworked and overran. And that I think came from like some of the leadership. Like, and I also, there was parts with the leadership at the time where you just, things might have been a little bit more unpredictable than they should be. Not probably always in a terrible way, but I think maybe some good things, some bad things. And I think I kind of came from like a spur of the moment, like, oh, well, we'll just bring her back in. And so you take like leadership that's super unpredictable and a team of girls there's a bunch of girls that are injured, and like that's the reason I'm coming back in, and I'm kind of like, well, okay. But I mean, we need to also sit here and acknowledge that while I'm really glad I have this opportunity, I was just kind of like, well, this is coming out of two like really bad things happening too. So I definitely like kind of was sitting with that. And but it all worked out, and it was great. And I was really glad that the timing worked out the way it did, because we ended up getting a new coach my junior year, and I was kind of already set in stone, like comfortable there, and like felt that like really understood like, okay, I am a walk-on. I didn't get recruited and commit like everybody else, but I feel like I can hang. Like I think like I don't think there's anybody on this team that's like an odd one out. Like everybody like does every drill, every goes to every practice, does everything, and I never felt like I was like the one person that people had to cheer a little bit louder for when there was just every other drill happening, if that makes sense. Like I felt comfortable there. I was not a star player. I was not a starter. I had a lot to learn, but I think skill wise and like athletic wise, strength wise, I was fine. So
Right, right. You physically met all the requirements to be there, even if there were other aspects of your game that you felt like, and I want to emphasize that you felt like weren't where they need to be, because sometimes we're our own worst critics, right? And, I think on one hand, you need to have this critical element where you look at yourself in the mirror and you're honest with yourself about, hey, look, here's ways I can improve, whether that be in lacrosse, in swimming, in entrepreneurship, in being a dog parent, whatever it is that way. You have to be honest with yourself and admit the ways that you can improve and the ways that you can be better. But sometimes I feel like we tend to be almost over critical of ourselves, and we have no issue just sitting back and critiquing all these little things about ourselves when in reality we're freaking amazing people. Like you are such an incredible person, to sit and think about all the amazing things you've done from sport to entrepreneurship and beyond. And again, you're still just in your early to mid 20s. You're, still just getting started. And it's like, look at how much you've accomplished and look at how far you've come and how much you've been through and, running businesses and playing Division I sport during COVID while also attending university in a place that, was very new to you at the time. It's just a lot to, again, recognize how much you've been through, how much you've gone through, and how far you've come that way. So I think sometimes it's like, we can be so critical of ourselves when in reality, sometimes we need to almost like give ourselves a little bit more grace, I think. And I think that, your element of just like I guess what I'm trying to say is just this overall like relentless pursuit of the things that you want to do has like this what do I want to say? This overall like a relentless pursuit of anything and everything that you set your mind to is something that I just don't see in a lot of people anymore. And again, that's in relation to lacrosse, entrepreneurship, whatever. Like it seems like you're that kind of person that when you want something, you put your head down, you go to work and you make it happen. And if it's not good enough for you, then you work even harder to find a way to make it happen. And it doesn't matter what you have to give up to achieve it, whether that's sleep or, whatever that way you're going to find a way to get it done. And I think that there's something to be said about that. There's like this lost art of being able to take this concept of all these different incredible ideas, form them, take those pieces, put them into the puzzle, make them all fit together, and then make something absolutely incredible from it that way. And I think that you certainly seem to have mastered that so far that way.
Thank you so much. No, I mean, it's definitely been just like a crazy, like, my life has always kind of been chaotic, but I like it that way. Like I just think that I don't do well when I don't have like structure or like things that are like bringing me like joy and like passion and like that doesn't go to say that like when I have free time as an adult like I can't manage it. I mean, there's certain times where I'm like, oh my God, I'm like I'll like lollygag a little bit. But when I do have free time and I know that there's things that I want to do and like want to get done, I have like the honey, stop. I have like the motivation to be like, okay, let's like lock in and let's sit down and get it done. So I'm glad that now having more free time now, it's not like I'm like unmotivated. And I will say too, like it has been the perfect like full circle moment back in Winston-Salem. I'm studying sports media and documentary film, and I could go on and on about like film and like filming and like doing projects and like media and like being on the job like in the stadium like filming things like it is seriously and I never really like told the people this that I worked with and it I just don't think any of them understand like the relief to not only like be in my hometown but like be at like Lawrence Stroll or be like at the Couch, which is like the two places here in Winston like where the baseball team plays and where basketball plays. I've grown up like going to games there all the time, like what 5-10 minutes away. But to now be back here, I'm graduated. I have my degree. I have like the rest of my life that's like my time. There's no like opportunities where like I feel like I'm like, I really want to do that. Like for example, there's club lacrosse here at Wake, but I was like, I can't even like get back into it. Like I need to just do me right now. Like I need to stop trying to do all these things that I think I can do. Like I lacrosse is behind me. It's done. Like I don't need to add anything else. Like that chapter's over. And it was like I going into like studying film, it just combined everything because my favorite part of kind of my social media and entrepreneurship ventures was the media and the marketing. And you think about it, like you do everything. Like there's the inventory, there's the website design, you have things physically on hand. You need to know the best way to communicate and like reach your audience and like handle customer service, handle emails, connect with influencers. Like the list goes on and on. I mean, think about the ADHD in that environment too, especially with ideas coming in left and right. You're like, oh my gosh, like I got to do all these things. Like I can only do one thing at a time. But my favorite, whenever I would like have help, and it's funny because during COVID, when my jewelry business was really growing. I had people at my house, like 2 or 3 people at my house for like 5 hours a day, probably 4 days a week, 5 days a week, just shipping packages left and right. Like there were so many sales coming in, and that's what I needed because I really liked the media and the marketing. That was my favorite part. Like I wanted to do the pictures. I wanted to stand in front of the camera and be like, "Hi guys, welcome here. Like this is this product." Like that was my favorite part was just to like promote it and like do the kind of creative like marketing strategies. And also I love to be in front of the camera. I mean, you can watch home videos of me and my mom like has the camcorder and I'm like, I want to see, I want to see, I want to see. Like it and it makes so much sense that I was the kid that my dad was getting like the 250 gigabyte phone when the other one's 128 because I was like, Dad, I have 50,000 pictures. Like I can't lose them. Like I need the bigger phone. And like, I mean, I think I have a bigger phone than like my whole family. And I think it's like 512, like because I have like 90,000 photos. And like, I was always the kid that like, I wanted to watch the movie. I didn't want to read the book. Like I was not much of a reader. I think I've read like actually 3 books in my life, but that's just like the way I am. Like I'm a very visual learner too, and like I have to see things. Like I mean, I'll have scenarios and like visuals that like run in my head. I don't have like just thoughts in my head. So looking back, I was like, this makes so much sense why I like love filming so much, and especially in sports. But like sitting in the stands, you show up, and I mean, I'm an intern, so it's not like I'm working there. No one's really looking at me. I'm just doing what they need. Showing up and you just walk in, you're at a sporting event, you're still on the job, you still have a purpose, like you're still kind of behind the scenes, like in the tunnel, you're underneath the stands, like you can walk around the stadium anywhere you want to go. You're not just coming in like a fan in a designated spot. Like you like walking in and they're like, here's your camera. Can you just like sit in the lower bowl and just like just shoot? And I'm like, yes, I will. I will sit and enjoy the sporting event, not really worried, not have the stress of an athlete, not like sit on the bench or like have to stretch left and right if I think I'm going in the game. Like it was really like such a relief for me because I was like, I'm in my hometown, but I'm like doing something. I'm not just like back floating in my hometown post grad. Like I have a purpose here right now. And it's the best part about it is that when you're on site shooting, you're just shooting and like taking it all in with your own eyes and on in a lens. And then you get to go hang out and like unpack like everything that you shot and like figure out how you're gonna like style it. Like the way I was explaining it to my mom, it's like, Mom, I want you to imagine you're with all your girlfriends and you've been shopping all day. And you like everybody kind of goes out, buys different things, you kind of like disperse and like go in different spots. But you all get back to the hotel on your girls' weekend and you all just kind of like unbox the things you bought and like figure out who's gonna borrow what, who's gonna style what, how are you gonna use that. And like that's what it feels like. So I that was the best way I could explain it to my mom. So I was like, this is how fun it is. Like I genuinely love it so much. And I recently invested in like camera equipment, so I'm hoping that I can kind of build a career in videography because I love it. And it just makes sense to me. Like I just kind of see it. I haven't learned all the tools yet. I'm still a rookie, but it's been a great year here back in Winston.
I love that. I love that so much for you. And I cannot wait to see the success that you experience on that endeavor. But again, acknowledging the success that you've already experienced and running, a business and being an entrepreneur from a young age that way. That's something that comes up a lot when I talk with athletes is they want to make it on their own. They want to have their own business. They want to kind of have that control element in relation to their future financial and career decisions that way. What advice do you have for other athletes based on your own experience running a business that way that you feel like carries over from sport into business?
Okay. Well, I will say too, it does kind of always depend on like what people major in, but I think that with every major in college should come with some type of business class that has a little mix of like consumer behavior, communications, psychology,
And marketing.
marketing.
Please
Like,
include marketing and content
yes,
creation in that.
yes,
Absolutely.
marketing. I think that there one class that just has bits and pieces that maybe has no homework, no tests. Like, because to me, like wherever you are, like nowadays, like content creation is obviously huge. And so I think that, you know, you can do yourself like such a service. Like imagine somebody that is a doctor and let's say they're in the process, they're in med school. Like I am so fascinated to like scroll and like see your day in the life of your med school schedule. It also just brings awareness to like what that life looks like, which can really help somebody else like figure out like if that's maybe something that would like suit them. I think that content creation, I heard this recently and it was like stop create like you need to spend your time documenting, not creating. So like just document your time, document what you're doing, and like the right audience will come. And that's what I think was like really important too. And I remember in college, I started doing these vlogs, like I think it was senior year, and they basically were just like a day in the life at Wofford. And they were very accurate to a T. But I kind of the reason why I wanted to start making them was because I knew how like chaotic it was. And I was like, I just hope somebody can watch this and like understand what this looks like. And the videos like on if people want to go to my TikTok, it's just Avery Dew, and they're all at the bottom. And there's like 25 of them that are day in the lives. And they're quick, they're an easy watch. They're like a minute and like 10, but don't blink because you'll miss like a spot because I did them very like crash course. So I just think that content creation like is something that a lot of people should I know just a little bit about because if you love what you do, you shouldn't like I would be surprised if somebody didn't want to share with more people what they love to do. So that's what I think is interesting. But the advice that I would give somebody for just kind of entering into business or any degree, like did you want it from like playing a sport or just like in college in general or like athlete to
Any way
husband?
you want to go about it. It's your
Okay.
world. I'm just living in it.
Uh, okay. Um, I think the biggest advice would be to just understand. Somebody said this to me one time, and I thought, I mean, it made so much sense. It was like when you enter post grad, it's not like oh, we go from fourth grade to fifth grade to sixth grade to seventh, and then every like blah 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 through high school, everyone goes to college. This is like you might have some people like going abroad, some people wanting to go like start a business, people that might want to start a new job, like move to a new place. Like everybody, yeah, people in grad school, like everybody's on a different path. At this point, like there's no really timeline. Like you might have people like 28 that are getting married or might have kids, and you might have somebody 28 that is like still in med school. Like really, there's no path, and I think that never like compare yourself to like what other people are doing because nobody's path is supposed to look the same at this point. Like you all follow the yellow brick road until they all just like disperse. Like it's not there's literally no reason to compare anything or be like, well, she's doing that. Like, I want to do that. Like, because everybody's life is supposed to look different at this point. And that's probably the advice that I would give. It's just to like
Absolutely.
do
Absolutely.
genuinely what you want to do. Don't follow the path of like, well, this is gonna lead me to like be more successful, like, and it's gonna pay a lot of money. And I get that like finances are really important and like providing for like what you need. But if you can find any way to balance like getting what you need to support yourself while doing something that you love, do it. Like you might have a finance degree and you might make a lot of money in investment banking if you're able to get a job there because I know it's a really competitive field. But if you also have a finance degree and let's say you love to work with children or you love to work with students and you find a way to like use that finance degree to teach other people and that's more fulfilling and you enjoy it more, do that. Like that's stop like following the winners and like the monopolies of the business, like or of anything. Like just do what you want to do. If you can, I mean, that's my advice. So,
Go where there's no
from
path and
Avery
make a
Dew.
trail forward. And I think the more you do that, the more you pursue whatever you're passionate about, whatever truly keeps you going in life, the more fulfilled you're going to be and the more successful you're going to be in any endeavor that way, right? And as you were talking about that kind of like hypothetical or proposed like class that I think every university ever should have, like something that combines business, communication, psychology, marketing, maybe even a sales element to it, and also like some elements of entrepreneurship, like, hey, this is how you start a business, this is how you do business taxes, some of those different things that way. Like that creates such a broad, diverse skill set that I think anyone in any profession could benefit from, right? It makes me think of the quote, a jack of all trades is a master of none, which everyone's heard, but they forget about the second part of the quote. A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one, right? Are you going to go to someone who can only do one thing, or are you going to go to someone that can do 20 different things, right? I think, at least for myself, one of the many reasons people seek me out from a PT standpoint is not just the knowledge that I have in the rehab space, but the network, the communication element, and the collaboration elements that I can bring to the table that other people are just not willing to do, right? Even if I'm not the best from a rehab standpoint in the area, I make no claims to be. If I can do all those other things exceptionally well, then people are going to seek me out because I can provide things that others can't. And I think when you do that, when you have such a broad, diverse skill set, that no one else can compete with the amount of things that you can do. You put yourself in your own category. You're one of one, at least from a business standpoint or even a skill standpoint from sport recruiting for that matter. You can't compare you to anyone else, as you mentioned on the comparison side, because you have such a broad array of skills that run wide but also run deep that no one else can touch that, right? It puts you in a league of your own.
For sure. I agree. I think just like doing what um people want to do is just the best way to go about life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I realize we're probably running short on time, but we could literally just chat all night long. I would have no problem with that whatsoever. I find you so fascinating, and I love everything you're doing in life, whether that be from the entrepreneurship side of things to the lacrosse and sport background to the fact that you're literally putting off jumping on an online class right now to do this podcast. Like, you are literally so freaking impressive, and I just really love everything that you've been doing, Avery. Is there anything we missed in our discussion today, or anything else that you really want to bring up?
I don't think so. But thank you so much for having me. So
For, for people who want to find out more about you, where can they find you online?
honestly just go to my main Instagram. It's just Avery Dew. I did get lucky when I signed up for Instagram when I was 13. Just
Perfect. We'll link to that in the description below. That way, if you didn't quite catch it, you can just click there and see everything Avery is up to. Avery, this is amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you so much. Have a good one.